This course makes my soul scream. When I tell you that this place is my retirement plan, you have to believe me. Imagine you're 60, 65 years old. You've got a vacation home anywhere in the world. This is where I'm putting my vacation home. This, in my opinion, is the best golf course I've ever been to. This is where I want to have a house so that I can call up my college roommates and say, hey, come on over. We're having a party. You're staying here for a week. That's it. Somehow, 83 years ago, that's exactly the vision that Gordon Zitting had. A golf course destination where people from all over the world could come to enjoy the best sport in the best landscape. Only when his vision happened, this place was 1,000 acres of dead weeds and iron oxidized soil. Gordon was 5 years old at the time. When I was 5, I was dreaming about how to keep my younger brother from playing with my Hot Wheels. We owe a lot to Gordon because he was absolutely right. This is exactly where a golf course should be. We are just 34 minutes away from Zion National Park, and even if you're not strictly allowed to hit golf balls in Zion, there's a very important reason you should care about how close this course is. And not to give it away, but Disney's Pocahontas would have been a big fan. So let me tell you what I mean. When an artist is painting, there's this thing called color theory, where you're trying to choose colors that look good together. The more contrast you get between the colors, the more attention that draws from the person's eye. That's why you get oranges and blues in Hollywood and cinema. That's why you get red and green at Christmas. That's why you get black and white. You're very particular about the colors that you're trying to choose, and copper rock is just the perfect use of colors on nature's canvas. The soil here is extremely rich in iron, which probably doesn't seem like it matters unless you have a deficiency. But let me explain. Iron rusts. And so when the iron in the soil starts to oxidize and corrode, it takes on this really, really red hue, which is really important when you've got it next to a super green golf course. You physically don't have a choice but to gawk at the surroundings here. It's just the most beautiful golf course in the world, and it's in the middle of the freaking desert. This is important because I don't want to tell you to plan a golf trip here and have you gripe to me about misleading you. So listen while I explain why the course can keep the grass green better than other nearby options. So while many golf courses across the nation are reliant on existing infrastructure coming from local communities and municipalities for water resources, Copper Rock owns the rights to their water, which means they can use as much of it as they want. They don't have to share with your local swimming pool. That means that the grass can stay green the entire year round. They're not going to have a late super dry season where you're getting really, really bad dry spots and worn out ground. So it doesn't matter if the trip with your college roommates is in August. This course is still going to be the most green you've ever seen. So since we're talking about the grass here, it's worth talking about the LPGA and how they come out here to play. Now, those ladies have more talent in their little finger than I could have with 3 generations of genetic engineering on my side. So what hope could I possibly have to enjoy myself on the same tee box as these women? For that, we have the architect to thank. Dale Beto was working on the Red Rock Country Club nearby in Las Vegas when a friend introduced him to Copper Rock's dream boy, Gordon Zitting. Beto was excited to bring something to Utah that hadn't existed before the 1990s. In Utah, every golf course up until the 1990s had to battle for taxpayer dollars in order to get approved, but there wasn't really a lot of private money coming in and developing golf courses. 1990s, that changed. Copper Rock is one of the first courses in Utah to be the beneficiary of that shift. So we have private money coming in that can do whatever they want. They don't have to arm wrestle with the local rec center to get the funding that they need in order to just exist. You see, around Salt Lake, which is home base for me, architects very cleverly use natural features to create hazards and craft the challenges that make golf interesting. With the backing of Mr. Zitting, Beto had a blank slate to create whatever he wanted at Copper Rock. So he said, I think I'd like to make a double green with a sand bunker in the middle of it that's defended by a whole lake. This is the kind of course that you come to and you end up using every single club in your bag. And if you don't, go talk to the clubhouse. They'll get you sorted. The superintendent here is fantastic. He every day is picking pin positions and tee boxes that allow you to use every club in your bag. So if you show up and your 7-iron looks like this, you might be in for a rough day. You don't just play driver, wedge. There are plenty of forced layups and risk and reward opportunities, and the variety in the type of hazard is a marvel. Every golfer ever has struggled to find footing in a bunker, but when was the last time you actively sought them out because they were just that fun to hit out of? But there's even more than that. Copper Rock takes a lot of pride on how they've designed their tee boxes to make it an extremely playable course at every single skill level. The course is an absolute masterclass in architecture because every single tee box gives you a different hole. Playing here from the blacks, you have a much different approach. Different hazards are in play, different options are available to you. Versus playing from where we are at the Golds, you get a totally different look. And so you can bring players of any skill level here and they can have a good time because you play them from a different tee and it opens up just that many more options for you on the course. They can have a good time, they can score well. This is just the premier, most well-designed course I've ever seen. You can actually come down to your vacation home for a weekend getaway with your wife for the one round a year she cares to play along. I know that because my dad did it with my mom. She had the time of her life. Instead of just adding distance, the tees give you different angles to play, allowing much more friendly conditions for golfers of all abilities. This course is just unreal with its use of water hazards, dog legs, elevation change, and the speed of these greens. Dale had a good time dreaming up whatever challenges he could throw at golfers. I'm confident that you could play the course 4 times in a week and feel like you were on a different course each time. I feel like people have the tendency to take a recency bias when they say this is their favorite course in the world. And it also happens to usually be vacation golf courses when they say this is their favorite golf course in the world. Please understand, I'm not being ironic when I say this is my favorite golf course in the world. Like, why else would I be so certain that I want to buy a rental property here and retire someday? Like, Copper Rock, far and away, is just the best things about golf, all in the same places. Like, I've loved being here, hanging out with the boys, filming YouTube videos. The staff has been just insanely incredible to us. I can't take my eyes off the landscape. There's just not a single thing wrong with Copper Rock Golf Course.